Nicole Huntsman here from moderncosmic.com. We have got our sun sign compatibility here on this video. If you know what sun sign means, fast forward to the timestamp you see or the description of the video. So in Western astrology, we take the year, the 12 calendar months, okay, and we divide them up according to the Earth's relationship to the sun. And this makes sense if you think back in the day when we were farmers. The movement of the sun, it's actually our movement, the tilt of our Earth relative to the sun and how it affects the seasons was very important. Springtime, time to plant, summertime to take care of and tend the fields, and of course fall time to harvest, and then winter was time to preserve the things that you had stored and make them last till spring again. Now, in astrology, we look at these 4 important dates that are repeatable, they happen every year, and they are the spring equinox, the summer solstice, the fall equinox, and the winter solstice, okay? We have our zodiac signs all set up according to these solar events. In the springtime, when we have our spring equinox, March 21st, this is that time of year when the equator of the Earth is facing the sun, directly, and the Earth is level, so to speak. So, we are on an axis and the Earth tilts. At this point in the year, we're level. That's why you can spin an egg and it will spin. Now, that's the beginning of the zodiac year, and really should be the beginning of our year. It would make sense to have the time when we go from winter, where we have more darkness than light, to the time when it's equal. We have an equal amount of daylight and equal amount of darkness, and then we move into the time of the year, the spring, when we have more light and less darkness each day, okay, until we hit the summer solstice, where we have the most light, more light, and less of the darkness. So with the zodiac, your sun sign falls during a month between those 4 events. So your sun sign is going to fall into one of these segments, okay? We've got the 12 months divided up into 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, according to those solar events. And then in each of those sections, we have 3 zodiac signs, okay? Your sun sign is important in that it shows your general life force. If you think of the sun is the star in our solar system. It is the mass, the giant mass, relative to us anyway, that is holding our solar system together. Without the sun, without our star, we wouldn't be here, and if something happened to our sun, we would all die, we would perish. We eat food that's made from the energy of the sun. We are literally made of sun, which is pretty cool. Someone's sun sign shows you the basic premise upon which their personality is built. It's like a canvas that we're going to paint upon. It doesn't have any paint on it yet, it's just the canvas. Is it wood? Is it metal? Is it canvas? Is it a panel? Is it round? Is it square? How big is it? How little is it? The zodiac sign will sort of illuminate, and it will explain and make granular sort of this very basic part of what we have to work with, okay, with the personality. So it's the first step in building, when you're looking at an astrology birth chart, it's the first thing you look at because you're going to build upon it, all right? And then all the brushstrokes come with the moon and all the angular houses and the planets and the aspects between the planets. That's when it becomes a beautiful picture. But until then, it's just you're one of the 12 zodiac signs. This is very general. Sun signs are general. It's a general vibe. You've got someone who's kind of more of a feeler, someone who's more of a thinker. But there are all different types of feelers and there are all different types of thinkers, okay? We get that granularity by looking at the entire birth chart and by putting the 2 people together, okay? You can have a feeler and a thinker get together and be really happy if they've got other things in their birth chart that make nice compatibility interaspects. If for some reason your sun signs don't get along well, let's say we've got someone who is, let's say we've got a Capricorn and an Aquarius, very different energies. Capricorn's conservative, Aquarius is an iconoclast and does their own thing. On the surface, sun sign wise, these 2 aren't going to jive perfectly. But if you look underneath, maybe they have moons that are both in water, and it gives them an emotional warmth, or it gives them an emotional depth to the cooler Capricorn Aquarius facade. There's another thing you want to look at between your compatibility charts. There are several, but another important primary planetary aspect that you want to look at, or planetary placement, I should say, that you want to look at. And I'm going to talk about this at the end of the video, so stay tuned, watch the compatibility, and at the very end I'll explain to you how to find If your sun compatibility isn't great, there's another thing you can look at that will indicate whether or not the two of you are going to have long-lasting happiness together, or if it's going to be sort of a no-win battle, okay? All right, let's get on to our sun signs, and please leave me comments if you have questions, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Taurus are the individuals born April 20th through May 20th. Now, this is the time of year, if you were to imagine we're back 2,000 years and we're farming, this is the time of year we would be planting. We'd be planting our seeds, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, which is where this type of astrology comes from, Western astrology. Taurus is all about the possession. It's all about the five senses of our physical bodies and operating through this physical these three dimensions that we are here in. So Taurus, ruled by Venus, has to do with the sensual pleasures of the body, but also this idea that we can, as individual protagonists in our own story, possess things. So this is our money, this is our physical possessions, and this is also things more abstract, I suppose. Our self-esteem and our talents, the things that we possess inside of ourselves. Taurus sun signs are slower moving, predictable. They like things to unfold in a way where they know what to expect. And if you think about a farm and you think about planting seeds, you do them if you want to be productive with your farm. You plant them in rows and you do them a certain amount of space between each other, and you water them regularly, and there's a consistency there, okay? There's a routine and an earthy sort of habit that is followed in order to be productive. Have a concrete, practical way of thinking, or way of being rather, because this is a sun sign. With a Taurus, you do have someone who's somewhat stubborn. They have in their mind a plan for how they'd like things to unfold, and they'll get there when they're going to get there, and you can't push them and prod them, okay? Now also, Taurus being ruled by Venus, these individuals appreciate nice things. A lot of times someone who has strong Taurus in their chart, they either like luxury items, they're highly motivated by working hard and making money, or they enjoy the arts, music, whether it's creating it or just listening to it and enjoying it and being a patron of the arts and music. These are very Taurus, and Taurus loves food. Again, and sex. This is the body, being in a body, having a spirit in this human form where we get to experience the pleasures of what comes with this body. On the high side with Taurus, we have steadfast, loyal, determined, artistic, usually. Sometimes they're not artistic. Sometimes it comes out in other ways, like it comes out in the enjoyment of the arts or the enjoyment of food and these things I've talked about before, the five senses. They are understanding and affectionate. They're calm. They like peace and harmony in their relationships. Okay, this is Venusian. They're practical, sensual, passionate people. Their passion is different than the Aries passion. The passion of a Taurus is more slower moving and sensual, and it's more consistent. You know, Aries, the sign we did earlier, would just kind of flare up, whereas Taurus is going to come out slowly and sensually. Now, on the shadow side, or if you've got a low-functioning Taurus, you can have someone who's stubborn, who's materialistic, who's hedonistic. They are focused way too much on the outside and not on the inside. There's an unmovable nature to a shadow, low-functioning Taurus. They can be possessive, afraid of change. They have a really strong need for security, and so they're afraid to sort of break out from situations they know aren't best for them. So they can overstay bad relationships or bad situations at work, or just life situations, just be in the same career for years that they don't like, but it's the devil you know is safer than the devil you don't know. And they can be a little lazy and a little vain. That's our Venus. Now this is low functioning. Taurus in love. Taurus appreciates beauty, all right? Taurus sun signs, whether it's male or female, whatever their personal idea of beauty is, they will have, it's going to be high on their list of things that will matter to them. They need to be physically attracted to their partner. They are quite lusty and sensual, the sun sign. Once they have gotten to know someone, once they've decided that this is the one for them, they're affectionate, and the way they show their love is through they do enjoy giving their partner gifts, sharing things with them, but also really affection and sex. There's a possessiveness to a Taurus. They're on the axis of possession with a Scorpio as well. So they can at times be a little bit possessive, and they need to know that their partner is theirs. So they can have some issues with security and needing to feel safe and secure. Taurus expectations in love. Taurus types, Taurus sun signs, they're looking for security, and they're looking for a relationship that is grounded in reality. They wouldn't really be stoked about a relationship that was like based on the internet, you know, like a long distance relationship, unless you had a Taurus with a ton of Aquarius in their chart, and that's a whole other story. But for the most part, Taurus, pure Taurus sun sign, they like to have you there in their presence. They want someone to build a life with. They want harmony. They want to enjoy the daily pleasures with their partner. They like good food. They like a nice regular sex life. They like to dance in the kitchen while they're cooking dinner together. They just want simple, authentic, real love. Okay, that's their expectations, and they expect loyalty. So you give that to them, and you have got a happy bull. Now, Taurus's biggest fear, they worry about security. This is why you've got a sun sign that's so focused on making money or proving themselves through their ability to be successful or have control over their ability to create income. That's why it's underneath it is an insecurity, a worry that they will be without. So this includes the partner. They do have a fear of their partner leaving them. And so they need a partner that is consistent, steady, does what they say they're going to do, shows up when they're supposed to, and is reliable. Ultimately, that will put their heart at ease and keep them happy and harmonious. So these are our folks born from July 23rd through August 22nd. Leo, as you may know if you are a Leo or if you're dating a Leo, this is the lion. That's the symbol, the animal symbol. When I think of Leo, I think of the sun, though. I like to think of the way that a lion radiates its roar out away from itself, right? Our sun radiates its light and energy and radiation out from its body, which of course keeps our planet here, the Earth, keeps our ecosystem working, keeps us all alive. It's why we have plants to eat and animals have plants to eat, and etc., and oxygen and all the good stuff that we need here to keep this beautiful planet humming. So with that comes creativity. You think of all the things that are here on the Earth, and it's a process of creation, of birth and death and regeneration and over again. That's all fueled by the sun. So when you think of a Leo, I want you to think of this dynamic, outward, creative energy. That is Leo. A Leo is here to self-express. They're here to be heard, to be seen. Many times Leos, if someone has a very strong Leo chart, you know them when you see them. I met 2 Leos just this past week, and I knew immediately before they even told me their birthday that they were Leo, or at least had a Leo rising or a Leo moon, you know. Leo has a colorfulness, and not literal colorfulness necessarily, although it can be, but there is a sparkly, energetic, charismatic energy that comes from the Leo. Okay. Now, on the high side with Leo, we have a fixed sign. So this is someone who, once they've made their mind up about something, they're quite loyal and they're committed, sometimes to a fault even. They can sometimes, like the Taurus or sometimes the Scorp, or, you know, they sometimes can get themselves in situations where they stay longer than they should, okay? Not always. Now, if they're, as long as they're being admired and they feel like this is a situation where they're getting their pets and the affection and the time and the admiration that they need from their partner, they can overstay relationships that are maybe with partners who are on again, off again. You know, that can sometimes happen to a Leo, because when it's on, it's really good and they feel fantastic, and then when it's off, they can feel dejected and they want to win back the on again affections of their partner, if that makes sense. So that can happen sometimes with Leo. Now, back to the Leo temperament though. Also, this is a personality type that's quite protective of loved ones. It's a fire sign. They have a natural leadership quality to them. They are warm and affectionate. They're quite generous. They like to, many times, a lot of Leo men in particular, they're gift givers, you know. Because there's a nostalgia, sort of like the way Cancer is nostalgic, but in a different way. They like to be giving the gifts or giving the love. You know, that's this outward flow of energy. But also, Let's move to the shadow side of Leo. On the shadow side, Leo can also be pouty if they're not getting the attention that they want, or the, like they're the divine child actually of the zodiac, the divine child, the sun, and they can at times, if they feel like they're not being loved by their partner, as a mother would love a child, they pout like a little baby. So also Leos need to feel like they're number one. They need to feel like they are the be all and end all. I have so many clients. This is really funny. It's anecdotal, of course, but I would say I can think of right now 5 or 6 different clients who have and also 2 people that I've dated who have exes who have their moon in Leo, that are female with the moon in Leo, and who broke up with, okay, mind you, they broke up with the male partner, but then after that male partner has moved on to a new female, the Leo moons come back into the picture, okay? Or they still need to feel like they're number one, even though they don't even really care about the partner, okay? Now this is shadow side. So hopefully if you're listening to this and you're a Leo, you don't do such silly tricks. But if you do, we're on to you. Okay, now what else? Also you've got, they can be vain, right? They can be proud, dignified on the high side, and proud kind of on the like low functioning side, where they don't want to look bad, so they can cover their tracks, or lie about something to save face. They're such good salespeople. They're so good at talking you into whatever it is that they kind of have in mind, like a true Leo. They're so enthusiastic and charismatic. You feel like, well, yeah, I want to do whatever it is you're talking about. That sounds great. They can really sell people into something. But that can also make them seem they can be bossy sometimes, or they can be a little overbearing with what they think is the right way. If you're working like in a team, sometimes the Leo can be like, wants to get its way. It's the king and the queen, so they can be a little demanding or bossy. But ultimately, they are a strong leader, and a lot of times they are correct. They have a good intuition, and it's different than a water sign intuition. It's a fire sign intuition. It's just kind of like they'll strike out and try something, and if it doesn't quite go the way that they expect it to go, they'll fix it and make it go the way. You know what I mean? That's a fixed energy. It's like taking what you've got in the present moment and making it work. Okay, applying energy to that to make it work. Now. As far as also another shadow side thing, they do have a high need for thank yous and for praise. And I don't know that that's necessarily shadow side or low functioning. I feel like that's actually just, if you as a partner or a friend, if you understand your Leo, you recognize that they are generous and they give, okay? But they don't do it the way a Virgo does it, where it's like self-effacing, like they give. They don't really expect or nor kind of in a way want or feel comfortable with receiving in return. Leo's not like that. Leo's the divine child. It's like a kid playing. They want to throw you the ball, and then they want you to throw it back to them. Like, okay, like they want the back and forth. They want to give to. It's just like the sun and the moon, right? So the sun shines on the moon reflects the light back. They just want this reciprocity there, and they want to be told thank you, or like to recognize that they're making an effort and they're focusing all their divine energy on you. So recognize that and know that you are with someone who is here to express their ego. So you need to support that sort of life purpose. Okay. Okay, Leo's in love. Now, you've got a Leo, someone who's true Leo. They're very romantic. They're ardent. And because remember we talked about them being the divine child, there's an innocence to the way that they love. They like to have fun. They like to be spontaneous and surprise their partner with, whether it's a fun trip or it's even just something simple like a love letter that they've left for you on the counter. Or, a female Leo, I can see her leaving like lipstick kisses and words and stuff on the mirror, like that kind of thing. Like they like to demonstrate and express their love when they're really in love with someone. And they're really proud. Like on social media, you see Leos, they'd be posting like pictures of their partner and the two of them together, and they want to show you off. And it's out of this place of kind of like, they just admire you as well. And so when they admire, they have to like let others know. They can't like keep it to themselves. Okay. Okay. Expectation. Okay. Okay, Leo's expectations in love. Now, Leos many times, like I said earlier, they have a little pride and dignity to themselves in the way that they operate. They appreciate a partner who also takes pride in themselves. And this includes physically. You know, a lot of Leos, they can be kind of flashy with the way that they dress. You could have a Leo that started out, you know, with not a lot of money and then gets a job in the real world and starts making some good money. And then the first thing they would do is go out and buy some really nice clothes, you know, like they like to, again, because they're this energy that's about flowing outward from us. It's an extroverted expression of energy. So to be seen, to be heard, to make a mark, that's Leo. And so the way you dress many times, they can be bold. So they like a partner who is committed to you. If they're in love with you, you know with a Leo, okay? Of course, the whole chart, we need to look at the whole chart, but Leo's quite expressive and ardent. When they're in love, they can't help but tell you, so you will know. And if you violate that and you are not loyal in return, that will really anger a Leo. And it's the one thing that would make a Leo leave, really. And a Leo who stays in a situation where their partner is cheating on them, they've got to have some, I don't know, water or earth on that moon, or, you know, some other things happening there, perhaps some Virgo Pisces stuff happening, or 6 and 12 house stuff happening to get them to stay, and they're going to hate themselves the whole time that they're staying. So loyalty is important. Okay, so Leo's biggest fear is, you know, their number one kind of, remember, they're the sun. So they need to be recognized. They need to feel like they're doing something with their life that's important. In their relationships, they need to feel like they're important to the partner. There is a little bit of an egocentrism to them. I mean, look, the sun, it's our star that holds our entire solar system together. So they probably deserve, and they probably, you know, a Leo typically, and as long as they're well aspected, they're quite loving, and they deserve the admiration that they need, you know, they seek. Their biggest concern is that they're not important, that they're not, you know, number one to their partner, that they're not number one in whatever their field of work is. You know, they're quite ambitious. Because it's the sense that you came, you lived your life, but you didn't do the one thing you were supposed to come do, which is leave a mark, an indelible mark that's unique to you. That's Leo's mission. So if they feel like they're not accomplishing that, then you got a sad Leo. So that's their fear. So support them in their efforts, their creative efforts, their career efforts. Be patient with them when they do go through a little ego, times where they get a little, kind of a little inflated ego. If you can help bring them back to earth, that's always good. But do it in a nice way without hurting their dignity, okay? And ultimately, need love and affection returned back to them. They're pretty simple. They want to be admired, loved, and snuggled, and all of that good stuff. So that's your Leo. Taurus and Leo. So these two, initially these signs square each other, and they're fixed signs, and they're both quite physical signs. So there's going to be a strong physical attraction initially, a bit of immovable object and the unstoppable force thing kind of happening with these two, and both parties being kind of a little bit piqued and interested to see who sort of gets the other one to move first. So that's their initial attraction. For long-term interaction, both of these people have a need for consistency and loyalty. They kind of come from different places. Taurus just needs to know that their earthly life is going to run as planned, okay? So they like that loyalty, they like the security, just knowing you'll be there, because they're going to build their life upon the relationship, so they just want to know it's solid. The Leo, on the other hand, is someone who needs admiration, and they need a partner that's devoted to them, and will shine this in reverse, but they need that commitment and that bonds. They sort of have like a fan in a way. So the long-term interaction between these two, Taurus can be a little stubborn about admiring Leo when Leo needs it. Taurus can sort of be a little bit like, you know, get over yourself kind of a thing. And Leo can sometimes get frustrated with Taurus and how Taurus is so stubborn and won't try Leo's new ideas. So they can have these little conflicts where Taurus feels like the Leo is pushing the Taurus, or trying to get the Taurus to move, or trying to get the Taurus to do something that's not in the Taurus's comfort zone. That could be a common source of argument. Conflict between these two. Both people think they're right. There's a pig-headedness to both of them. Therefore, they can butt heads, just like any of the fixed signs together can. The harmony between these two would be they've got a great physical chemistry. There's great sex. They can both be humble enough and let their guard down and let their pride go a little bit. They can have a really wonderful coupling. As long as they can bring that energy, sort of that creative energy, that passion, out of the bedroom into their everyday life in a healthy way, then they've got a good thing. Long-term interaction can look like two proud peacocks butting heads. It's kind of mixing metaphors, but there's a pride in both of these people, and there's also stubbornness. So it can look like they get in fights that are over things that are really silly to other people, but to each the Taurus and the Leo's mind, they seem like a big deal.